Hi, I'm James Glass, and I'm sitting here next to this 2.5 liter Subaru Boxer engine. It's from my car, and my boys and I pulled it out today, and I've wheeled it down into my little shop behind my house. We yanked it in the driveway. And this video, along with two more, this is part one of three, is going to show my boys and I pulling this engine. Then the second one, part two, is going to be a video of my boys and I repairing the engine, pulling the heads, replacing the breached head gaskets, and putting it all back together. And then part three is going to be the reinstallation, and most importantly, driving the car. Where I'm going to get a video, set a GoPro camera up inside the car, and I'm going to show their reaction when we back out of the driveway and we go somewhere. We'll do something fun. Maybe we'll go get pizza. And the reason I wanted to do this was I wanted to show the boys problem solving, and I wanted to show them how you can take a skill set. I happen to have the ability to repair automobiles and knowledge, and put that together to solve real-world problems. They're going to grow up in an extremely digital world, and I wanted to show them a more analog aspect of life. I think it's a wonderful way for them to get their hands dirty, literally, to get their hands on tools, to see how developing skills and applying them in a very direct way can have super meaningful results. So, if you're interested, watch the rest of this video. It's gonna be the boys and I in the driveway yanking this engine, and I'm gonna upload this right away. And then in a few weeks, after we've had time to repair it, I'll upload video 2, and then I'll do video 3. So I hope you enjoy my children as much as I do. They're good boys. There's some crying in the video. I got to warn you ahead of time. The 2-year-old had a rough time this afternoon after I got him up from his nap. It's not all smiles, but yeah, I hope you enjoy this.
You put your car up?
I put my car up on jack stands. Very, very important. Anytime you lift a vehicle, you only with an adult and only with approved equipment, and it can only be supported by approved jack stands. And so now not only am I working in the driveway in November and taking care of children full time, I'm yanking an engine in that driveway while taking care of children full time. So this should be an interesting sort of fun little video log of that process. And so it's the dynamics of all those variables that might make this one of the more fun engine pulls ever. Plus, so in this video, you're not just going to see me yank the engine in the driveway under field conditions. You're going to see me and my boys yank an engine, and you're going to see what it looks like to introduce children to the technology, in this case an automobile, and the science behind that technology. So yeah, let's pull an engine in a Subaru.
Can we touch this and this? Can we touch these two things? Can we touch these?
Yes, I'm going to tell you all about the things that are safe to touch and the things that are not safe to touch. But
Can
first,
I touch this?
Absolutely. So here's what.
I touch that.
So, this is the car we drive around in, and it has a problem with the engine. There's a problem with the engine. It's called a...
Your car broken in there?
My car is broken in there. Don't tap my car with your gun, please. And so in order to fix this, we're going to have to pull the engine out and take the engine apart, and that's where we'll spend a lot of time together inside the shop. But before you work on a car, you have to, in this case I had to put it up on jack stands, so I used that special big jack, and I jacked in just the right place, and then I put those jack stands like I showed you under the car. Never work on a car. See them again? See those jack stands behind the wheels?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you're working on it. We're gonna work on it a lot. The next thing is we have to disconnect the battery. This black box over here is a battery. It is one of the 2 sources of electricity for the car. the battery helps start the car with the starter. It completes the electrical circuit, and it acts as a backup in the event of alternator failure.
This on, Daddy?
I did put that on to protect it. Do you see this?
What is this?
That's just a towel. It's called a fender cover. Do you see this? Do you see this silver thing right here with those copper colored things right there? This is called the alternator. This supplies the vehicle all the electricity when it's running. So these are the two.
Is it brakes?
But this only makes electricity if the engine's turning. This does not make electricity if the engine's not turning. See this belt down here?
What?
See this rubber belt?
I can't see it. I can't really see it.
Here.
I don't want to see it.
See these belts?
Oh, yeah.
This pulley turns when the engine turns, and it drives all these ancillary components. It's about the safety of the battery. The battery, however, has stored electricity in it, and we're going to be touching and working right near big cables coming off this big source of electricity, so we have to disconnect it. In this case, I'm going to pull the whole thing out because it has a date stamp on it from June 2009, and this is November 2015. This is the end of this battery's life expectancy. 5 to 7 years is about all you get out of a battery. Yes.
What's that yellow thing?
That is a cap to the power steering reservoir. Guys, and you, stop being an instigator. Yeah. AC compressor. This thing holds the hood up. It's called a prop rock.
Daddy, what is that?
Stop, don't. This is very, if this fell, it would hurt us.
What's that thing? It looks like a rope thing with a yellow cap on.
This?
Yeah.
That is the brake master cylinder.
What's the only red thing over there?
This?
Yeah.
This is a cover on the positive terminal of the battery. It's a protective cover. You can look at the wheel. Okay guys, that's probably good enough for now in terms of learning the basic parts. We'll be able to see them better when we pull everything out.
Look, we can spin your wheel.
Engine pulling with tiny children.
Wheel, Daddy.
Yeah. So Simon and I have just pulled the exhaust. We pulled it complete. And yeah, make some shadows. And he helped me pull the exhaust out the back. His job was to guide it out from under the bumper. Hey, Simon, shine the light on the exhaust. Yeah. Simon's job was to shine it on the exhaust so everyone can see.
Okay.
Simon's job was to guide it out the back of the bumper. Obviously we don't have a lift, so we didn't have the luxury of doing this standing up. Here, let's go around front, Simon.
Daddy?
Yes?
I want to see what yours is. W in S
Simon's reading the license plate because he's learning letters. So we've got the power steering loose, we've got the AC loose. Of course, we're not going to touch the power steering fluid. We just left that as a complete unit along with the refrigerant. We didn't discharge it. We'll just set it aside. Got most of the ancillary stuff off. And down here we have the header pipes off. And we just left the exhaust complete, unplugged the oxygen sensors. And that's the way to do it in modern cars, is just take the whole thing out. Take it off at the cylinder head and take the hood. Yes?
Can I go back inside?
Oh yeah, are you getting cold? So, so where are we? I'm rambling here. Oh yeah, so there's very little left. There's probably less than 30 minutes left. I've got to disconnect the starter. Fuel lines are all taken care of. I've got to get the heater hoses. I'll drain the fluids out. And today's Thanksgiving, so obviously we didn't go anywhere. Everything's closed, and hopefully everything's closed. And but tomorrow I can probably go to the rental place and get the engine hoist and rent it for half a day and pull this thing out and drop it down in my hydraulic cart. So yeah, we that wasn't too bad. Like all told, even with stopping a million times and having lots of conversations about lots of parts and what they do and names. We just covered a lot of names because I mean, you know, Simon's 5. He's going to be 6 in April. It's, you know, we're just going for introductory terminology here. We had a pretty good day, probably 3-4 hours, I'm guessing, And maybe without the assistance of the boys, I might have done it in 2, but who cares? This is fantastic. This is a fantastic learning experience. I would have gladly spent 6 hours pulling this engine if it meant the boys had a reasonably good time. It is getting cold out here. It's getting down into the high 40s, so I think it's time to call it a night and wait for the sun to come up tomorrow. I'm betting it will. One of the things about pulling engines with children is sometimes when you're 2, you're just upset for being upset. Also, we found the problem with the engine separation. I had loosely placed a nut on the back side of the starter as a safety nut and just simply had forgotten to remove it because I was distracted dealing with the children. And so that's the cool thing about doing this. It's not just an engine pull, it's an engine pull with children. And so I'm going to stop for a while and comfort my son, and then we'll see if we can't get him involved in separating the engine now that we've found the safety nut. I'm not really sure how much video we lost. The battery died just as we were lifting the engine out. What I had said was the reason it was stuck earlier is I had left a nut on the back side of the bell housing just as a safety thing, and I'd forgotten to take it off. And of course, if I was able to get video of the kids crying and screaming while we were doing this, then you'll know one of the challenges of pulling an engine with kids is navigating being 2. So Eli is doing much better, and he is... Oh, he says he's not doing better. Is that true, Eli? You're not doing better? Oh, okay. Well, let me know if you want any milk or anything to eat. So we've got the engine pulled. And it looks like I don't have to take the hood off, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to go ahead and lift this the rest of the way out, and we'll be good to go.
Well, don't need the towel in the car.
Don't need what in the car, baby?
We don't need the towel in the car.
The towel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, look at that. Daddy
No,
got
well,
the hose out.
I've got the towel sitting right here, the little towel, just to protect the paint from the power steering pump. But yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it really too much. It's just going to sit there. It's just going to sit there.
You're going to take it out now?
Yeah, we're going to take it out. Simon's going to be sad to miss this. Yeah, well, let's drop it down for safety. Here, let's rearrange. Focus in. Now, you stay right there because the engine's really heavy. We're going to lower it down until I go get the hydraulic table to put this on, and we'll wheel it down into the shop. I'm lowering the boom. Lowering the boom.
What is it?
It's a Subaru 2.5 liter boxer engine. That's what it is. Do you want to look at it?
Yes.
All right, come close. You can come close to it. Here. Here we go. So, here's the back side of the engine where it hooked up to the transmission. This is the clutch. This is called the clutch. You can touch it. Oh yeah, sit on my leg. Yeah.
What is that?
This is the throttle body. And it goes to the intake manifold. Air from the atmosphere goes in through here. Watch that butterfly valve open. See that open inside? See that? That is, push it right here. Push it right here.
What was it, like a suction cup holding it?
No, I left a nut on. I forgot a nut. See, it opens up. And this is hooked up to, you know that pedal that we push on the floor in the car? The accelerator pedal? A lot of people call it a gas pedal, but it's not a gas pedal. It's actually an air pedal. It lets more air in the engine, not fuel. So anyway, that opens up and air goes inside. And then the computer has registered how much air is going in, and it sends just the right amount of fuel over. I left a nut on.
Huh?
I left a nut on the back side, a loose nut.
Oh, you.
I left it on for safety. I meant to take it off before I started separating and I forgot.
Oh,
Yeah.
you left it on?
I left a nut on, yeah.
Oh.
It was there just as a safety precaution. It was finger tight. Yeah, okay, let's let that go so you don't pinch yourself. So what else do we have here? We've
Now you
got dash pots. We've got fuel injectors.
What do you got to do to it now?
Well, it's got a blown head gasket. So it's got a blown head gasket.
Oh.
So I got to pull the heads off and put new gaskets on.
Oh.
The engine's okay, it just needs gaskets. So, and I just did water pump timing belt, so I won't have to do that. So, okay, well that's good enough for now. This is part 1 of the video series. Part 2 is going to be the boys and me in the shop pulling this thing apart, and then part 3 is going to be us sticking it back in. So I hope you enjoyed part 1, and I'll edit out the boring parts, but I'll keep in the good parts. I'll even keep in some baby screaming, because, you know, that's part of the joy of...
Are we going to drive in this car?
We are going to drive this car. We're going to fix the engine, and then we're going to drive in this car when we're done. It's going to be a few weeks, though.
Now.
So enjoy. I hope you enjoyed part 1, and look for part 2 coming soon.
Wave at the camera.
I'm going in the
Yeah.
car.